Hey guys, it's Tessa. So today, actually before we get into what I'm doing today, I'm saying this now because I know some of you are going to disagree with me and that's fine. But this is still counting as a stash busting video because I'm getting through some of my stash. It's not my fault that the project I'm working on requires more yarn. So yeah, I bought more yarn for this, but it's fine. Because at least I'm using it and that's what's important. So today we are working on a new top. I am making the Ripple Bralette by Jessie May Patterns or Jessie Made Designs. And this is just a worked bottom up 3x3 rib. Essentially it's like a summer top, but I'm using my Drops Flora, I can't show you the label, but using my Drops Flora in the shade black. I just had 2 skeins left over from the halibut sweater and I wanted to get through it all. I am doing this pattern slightly differently than done in the actual pattern. It starts with a 1x1 twisted rib. I don't love twisted rib and I don't love 1x1 rib. So instead what I'm doing is using my smaller needles to do a 3x3 rib. And then I'll switch to my larger needles as noted in the pattern and do the rest of it in the slightly larger size. That's just a modification I'm making for it, but I don't have too much of it done. I had a lot more done last night before I actually decided to use a real life pattern. I am planning on making this top as well out of some linen yarn I have coming soon, which I think will be really nice. But currently I want to make it in this yarn just because I think it'll be a nice little top to work with. As a general reminder, this is a fingering weight yarn and I believe it's 65% alpaca and 35 sheep wool, I think. Or the numbers are the other way around, I don't really remember. I don't have the extra skeins yet, I just ordered them. So they should be coming in the next like week and a half or so. I did also order a fair bit more yarn, but, before you start yelling at me in the comments, I bought the yarn I need for some projects that I have coming up. So I bought that linen yarn a bit ago. I have yarn coming for several projects. And what I'm really trying to do now is just when I buy yarn, buy it for a project and not just because it's pretty. So I think I have currently 6 projects worth of yarn coming, which is a little scary sounding. But that includes yarn for a everyday cardigan for myself. I already have buttons, I just need the yarn. A sweater for my husband that you'll see probably in the next few weeks. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know when that video is going to go up because it's all about when I'm working on it. And it's for this otter sweater. Again, I'll explain more in the future. But I'm really excited for that just because I know he'll really like it. And I bought it in some colors that he'll like. I have yarn coming for the chevron skirt that I made a couple videos ago. I have yarn coming for that specifically. And then there's just been this project I've been trying, this pattern essentially, I've been trying to design for, gosh, a year and a half now. And I've never had the right yarn for it. But I have some yarn coming now that I think will be perfect for it. I don't know if you guys know that trend that was on TikTok a couple years ago, but it was the like female Jedi and it had that skirt where it was like 2 panels. The back panel was wider than the front panel. Both of your thighs could be showing because that back panel is wide enough to cover everything, but the front panel allows the slits for both your legs to come through. I explained that very poorly. I will try to insert something here that looks similarly so that you can know what I mean. But I want to make something like that, but specifically out of crochet, and it uses this really pretty dark orange yarn, and I'm honestly really excited for it. And that yarn should be here in the next week or so I can keep working on this. Once I finish up the ribbing, I'll check in again, just so that we can kind of see how it's looking. Honestly, even though this is a light fingering yarn, it works out pretty quickly, which is kind of nice, I won't lie. But yeah, overall, I'm really liking cruising on this so far. I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to be sensitive to the wool alpaca mix, but I think it'll be fine. Worst case scenario, I use a little bit of extra wool wash in it while I'm blocking it to help soften it a tiny bit more. And again, this is really just like a prequel to using the linen yarn I bought that's also coming, I think in like a week. I don't really remember, to be completely honest. But it's a prequel to that, basically. I want to use this yarn so I can kind of get a feel for the pattern, and then I can use the other yarn for the secondary version of this pattern. But yeah, this is essentially the making of my first summertime or springtime top. I don't know if this one specifically will work for the summertime here in California. It gets hot as shit and I hate it, but it's fine because I can make cute things. I have been working on the, what is this called? I think it's the Ripple bralette. Whatever, doesn't really matter. I'll put the name somewhere on here. But I've been working on that. I only recently switched to, you can't see because it's black yarn, doesn't matter. I recently switched to my larger size. The pattern originally notes to use 2.75mm needles, I believe, to start, and then switch to 3.5s. The smallest I have in my lovely, lovely interchangeable set is 3.25, and then I sized up to 3.5. I counted all the stitches. I made sure I met gauge, at least width-wise. I don't care about, personally, I do not care if I do not meet row gauge. As long as I meet stitch gauge, I'm good. I call it a good day. We'll deal with it accordingly, whatever. I think it's because of the way I do my stitches, I think is why I never meet row gauge, but it doesn't really matter because you can always add more rows after the fact. You can't always add more stitches after the fact. But anywho, to give you an idea of what it's looking like so far, oh, there you go. So it's a little bit on the see-through side of things. However, it's not like see-through, if that makes sense. So with it stretched out to how it'll sit normally, you quite literally can't really see anything through it, which is kind of nice. So I think regardless, I'll still be able to wear this as like a top and not have to wear it as like an undershirt. I'm hoping to get through the first ball, this first ball, see how long it is, and kind of going from there if I need to buy however many more I need to buy. So far with the current length, I think we're sitting at about 3 inches, 3.25 inches, and the pattern itself is done in centimeters, which I prefer, but my brain does not have the energy to convert that into centimeters at the moment. It's about 3.25 inches so far, which is not bad, and I still have, doesn't look like a lot, but a decent amount of this skein left. Okay, so I should have checked in this morning / last night when I attached the second ball of yarn, but I didn't. So I got to about 5.5 inches with the first ball. I'm at about 7 inches now. I didn't check in because I've been really busy today, which you'll see in another video if you haven't seen already, but that's not the point. I'm at 7 inches now. I think I can do the full body before the decreases and stuff with the second ball. I have to check in till just now, but I separated for the front and back, casted off all the back stitches, and I have my 6 connecting stitches for the straps. I also think I'm gonna do a cross back strap, I don't know. But I started doing the decreases for one of the front sides. I still have a decent amount left, but I am running low on yarn, so I don't even think I'll finish the decreases before the I-cord, but that's fine. I have more yarn coming. But this project just might be on standstill till I finish it up, or till I get that yarn in actually, but I'm gonna get as far as I can tonight, / with whatever's left of this yarn, and then go from there. Okay, so really exciting. My my large yarn order finally came in, so that means I have my next ball of flora. I'm a little delulu today, I won't lie. Work has been a little crazy this week, and I've been on and off sick all week, so I'm so glad it's Friday and I can finally get back to knitting. So I ended up finishing, I don't think I checked in when I did this, but I ended up finishing the first side of this top. I think my plan is to do the second side and then block it, and I'll show you the final reveal for it. But yeah, so we finished this triangle and attached the strap. The pattern originally notes to use a 3-needle bind off. I actually don't know how to do that, but I think I did do it, because the way I've seen some people do the 3-needle bind off is where they take 1 stitch from each needle, put it onto that 3rd needle, and then you just cast off 2 stitches at a time, which is what I did, just without using a 3rd needle. Essentially, I used just my stitch marker since it's only 6 stitches. But I'm gonna get going on that. So here is the top. Here's the top fully blocked. I am wearing a bra underneath it because it's a tiny bit see-through, and I'm just a little worried that it's too see-through. But I think it actually turned out really nice. It's not making me warm or anything, even though it's the wool alpaca mix. I think it turned out really good, actually. I was really worried that I did too small of a size, since I didn't gauge swatch like I should have. So I was really worried that my tension was gonna be too small or too tight and kind of affect the overall fit of it. But I think because when I block ribbing, I block it so it's flat and not bunching at all. So I think that's really what gave me some better benefit. Here's what the back looks like. It's a little bit long in the back, I think, but I think it's also just based on how I wear things. So in theory, I could shift this slightly more forward, but I feel like that sits too low now, so I prefer it a bit more like this. And if that means the back is gonna bunch a bit, the back is gonna bunch a bit. But again, really like this top. I really like the pattern. It's really easy to understand. I was getting a little bit frustrated at one point, but that's because the formatting used in the pattern, in my opinion, is not what I would recommend using for a pattern. But that's because it does landscape pages and then essentially 2 columns. And for whatever reason, I think it's probably just the dyslexia in me, I could not at first figure out how to read it. But I think it was also late at night when I was trying to do it. But that's not the point. Otherwise, pattern's great. Really like the way it turned out. I'm planning to make, I think, 3 more of these or 4 more of these, or versions of this, using it as the base pattern. But yeah, the fabric is really light and flowy. Overall, turned out really good. So that is it for this video. If you have any questions on this pattern or the yarn, or have anything you want to say about it, feel free to leave me a comment below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!